there, chosen ones. How's it going today? It's July 16th, and it's like not even 9 a.m. yet. The title for today's message is Constant Gratitude plus Mental Fortitude equals Accessible Longitude and Latitude. So, get your coffee, get your special seltzer water with some OJ in it, perhaps. Yeah, Kimberly, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Constant gratitude, mental fortitude, accessible latitude and longitude? You might just think maybe she's a wordsmith. Yes, that is partially true. But, I got this message, I think when I was just, journaling. But basically, nothing's ever going to happen if we're not grateful for what we currently have. And it takes quite a bit of mental fortitude to continue thinking, I am going to get really lucky, I am going to get really successful, I am going to become who I always wanted to become. It takes a lot of mental fortitude to do that because, like I was kind of explaining in yesterday's video, there's always these forces coming up against us that are from the kingdom of darkness that don't want us to level up. As I'm speaking, there's a bunch of upstairs noise and thumping going on. There's always some type of tell from your environment that says you're doing really well, or resistance coming through when you're trying to level up. And it's an all-out war. Whenever you try and completely say, I am going to be better than I was yesterday. I'm going to make smarter food choices than I did yesterday. I'm going to hydrate myself better today than I did yesterday. When you're totally on the when you're totally on the track of self-improvement, there is nothing that's ever going to stop you unless you let it. That's a hard truth, too, that I've had to come to terms with. But now I feel like because I recognize that truth, it is setting me free. It is setting me free. And I feel like I'm able to go anywhere at any time in my imagination or physically because I have constant gratitude and mental fortitude. That's what I'm talking about when I say latitude and longitude. It refers to travel. Physically, it also refers to a spiritual imagination where there's no limits and the sky is the limit. There's no restrictions on how far you can go, how big you can dream, and to be ambitious as all get out. When we have constant gratitude, when you're already grateful, right as I said that, I heard the shower, the little nozzle thing, switch off and the water flushed, it went down the drain. So I feel like there's always something in our environment that's telling us that we're on the right track and that everything's aligning the way it should be. And back to what I was saying about gratitude, it brings more abundance. When I'm grateful, for example, for the fact that I have this new coffee place I'm going to, and the guy makes a mean cup of coffee. So I'm really grateful for that, and I feel like that has brought in more blessings. There's a particular fellow that always says "Good morning, sunshine" when I walk past on the way to go get the coffee and stuff. And it's just little things that I switched up because I feel like the other place I was going to was getting sketchy and stuff, and I just didn't appreciate the exchange anymore. So make sure that you're intentionally whatever you do about your day, wherever you give your money to, that it's a good exchange, because it is an exchange of energy, and you want to have a positive return of energy, and not just something oh, I need this, and they kind of treat me like shit, but I kind of just need it. And it's no, respect yourself enough to be grateful for good interactions that you want to continue that vibe and that type of interaction and energy, because it affects us, it does. we just might think like, oh, let me just like stop here and buy this really quick. But it's like entering a place that has bad vibes, like that kind of stuff can linger. And so being very intentional and being very grateful for what we currently have, what I'm trying to say is that will bring us more. That will bring us more elements of blessings and good things into our lives. Gratitude is the most powerful, I feel like, element of wealth. Gratitude is the opposite of fretting. Gratitude is the opposite of worrying. Gratitude is like saying, you know what, like, I am completely content with everything I have right now. And it's perfect just the way it is. And there's a verse on that. 1 Thessalonians 5:16 through 18. Rejoice always, pray without ceasing, and give thanks in all circumstances. So whatever the circumstances right now, it's meant to be that way. And it may not be like something that you typically find as ideal. However, we're meant to find the pearls of happiness in the darkest moments and recognize that God has us where He has us for a reason. And His ways are not our ways, and His thoughts are not our thoughts. So we may not always understand it or even agree with it, but we have to trust. We have to trust that God has the way out, or the way planned, or the schedule and itinerary for our day. And I think a lot of good things happen once we give up our control and release expectation and release outcomes and give it to God and say, let me just sit in the passenger, and you're gonna God, can you just, I am gonna quote Carrie Underwood, Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus, go on autopilot for me. And when we let Him guide us like that, more and more miracles will happen every day on an exponential level. Psalms 136:1. Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. His love endures forever. Galatians 3:15. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace, and be thankful. So the more peace that you feel, the more blessings and wealth and abundance you're going to be welcoming into your life. Because you're staying on that nice high frequency equilibrium of everything's cool, calm, collected, and people flock to that. People see you have your act together when you're like cool, calm, composed, and they want to invest in that. They want to be more like that. That's why peace is so important above all things. And that's why peace is more important than having something materialistic that's supposed to impress somebody else. But really, just so you know, I did finally finish that book, the one that was How to Get Your Life Together and How to Declare War on Yourself by MARC. And it was talking about how money, most of the time, like, it is an illusion. So sometimes, like, you see somebody and it's like they just bought like a $50,000 Cadillac, but truth is they only put $3,000 down for it. So really, they're $50,000 plus in debt for the interest that is going to accrue on every payment. So when somebody has a nice house, when somebody has a nice watch, most of the time, like that iPhone, like, it's an illusion. Like, most people don't own what they have. They're still paying it off. Most people are borrowing money to create the impressed, like, version of themselves that everybody else puts them in the box of, oh, they're well off because they have this material possession. But most of the time, money is an illusion. It also talks about how 99% of the people are broke, and 1% of the population has the wealth. And it's like, why is that? Well, it's because 1% of people in the population choose to spend their time and their day very productively, very wisely. I think it was saying that most of the billionaires and very successful people, like the the CEO of Twitter, like, he's jogging by 5:30 a.m. Um, other other billionaires, other very well-to-do, successful people have like a morning routine where they wake up at 3 a.m. or 3:30 a.m. And everything is scheduled, so they understand that their time is the most valuable aspect in order to maintain their wealth. So they don't let anyone waste their time. And because they're so busy with their schedule that they've planned, then it's like they're too preoccupied with what they've already told themselves to do, so that no one can kind of be on their mind, like to a point where it's distracting them, because they're like every hour something's scheduled on the agenda. Mental fortitude, that part of the message is like, it takes a lot of mental fortitude to become who you want to be and to live the life you truly want to live. To start that business you've always wanted to start, rather than working for somebody else. That takes a lot of guts, that takes courage, that takes being willing to be broke for a little while you're self-employed, eating crow, getting out of debt, until you finally see a return of investment a couple years down the road. But during that time where you're working for yourself, people are gonna like be hating and trying to convince you that you're taking the wrong path. This takes mental fortitude to persist. Calvin Coolidge said that, I can't remember the exact phrase, but it was along the lines of, consistent persistence is like something that's always going to outwin talent, and that there's a lot of men with talent, but what makes a man like truly successful and undefeatable is his persistence. Like, nothing beats persistence. There was this other aspect too that I read. I woke up at 4:30 and then I read till 6:30, and I finished that book because I really wanted to finish that book, because I have to get to the Raise Your Vibrations book. I don't have to, but I really want to. And what I was talking about, one of the last aspects I'll share with you, and a couple Bible verses for the day. That'll be the video. Thank you so much for being here. Is that there was this cool tactic where it's called throw your hat over the fence. So sometimes, and it was referred to as the inevitable factor. So sometimes we know we need to do something, but it's like we lack the motivation for whatever reason. So in order to force yourself to do it, you throw your hat over the fence in a metaphorical sense. So it kind of forces you to do it inevitably, and it's known as the inevitable factor. So, for example, I think for me, it's putting on my workout clothes, and then kind of like sitting for a little bit, and then being like, well, I'm already in my work, like, and chilling out, and like just kind of getting my day going for the morning, and then eventually I'm kind of like, okay, well, I'm already in my clothes, so I have to work out, and it's like, I want to work out, but because I'm wearing the clothes, it's inevitable that it's going to happen anyway. So like, that's a little like trick to like sustain your mental fortitude. But the message for today is like, yeah, man, like with your constant gratitude, it's an equation. It's a formula for success in life. Constant gratitude plus mental fortitude equals accessible latitude and longitude. And you'll never go wrong when you have constant gratitude and feeling grateful for everything you have in life. It brings more blessings. You open up more opportunities. Wealthy people are usually very grateful for everything that they have, and more so as they gain more. And that is the frequency that attracts. That is the green light that brings that the universe sees. Oh, okay, they're good with what they have. Well, then their mental fortitude is strong right now. Okay, and let's call on the angels and give her or him an approved auto loan. She's been very happy with the subway for 3 years. Along that line, you know, like the angels and like your ancestors and God will be like, oh, okay, he's been really happy with his new promotion at work. So I think he can handle a little bit more responsibility and a raise now. And it's like, it comes when we send out thoughts of gratitude to the universe. Like, I can't enforce it enough how important gratitude is to bringing more blessings. You can't fake it though. You can't be like, oh, I'm so grateful for everything I have just to like get the new. You really have to feel it. You really have to be like, oh, I do have quite a bit of blessings, don't I? Wow, I really am blessed. That's such a good feeling. And then bask in that, and you'll see people flock to you. You'll see blessings flock to you. You open your email inbox. You'll see more opportunities. These are the secrets to success. I think Colossians 3:17 is what we'll end on. And whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. Have a wonderful day. Peace out, chosen ones. See you on the next video.